Let's talk about something completely different. This is what's going on in our schools, because parents have been outraged. I'm among those parents over a video of a teacher indoctrinating primary school pupils with trans ideology using a school book about a teddy bear unhappy about his, her, its, z's, whatever we're using this week's gender. The book is used in so-called inclusion lessons in hundreds of primary schools across the UK. Well, joining me right now to discuss this is founder of Standing for Women, Kellie-Jay Keen. Good afternoon to you, Kellie-Jay. Kellie-Jay, can you hear me? Kellie-Jay, can you hear me? Oh, can you?
I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly.
I knew there was a button that needed to be pressed. We got there in the end. Wonderful. Listen, you know, I wish some of these teachers were on mute. Then they wouldn't be giving all this nonsense to our children. This is a book. This is a book that's basically being read out to children, and they're reading. It's 10-year-olds that are seeing this book, and it's about an unhappy boy teddy called Thomas, but he becomes happy when he transforms into a girl teddy called Tilly. And it's being read. This book is being read to pupils as part of a No Outsiders lesson. No Outsiders is a group run by a teacher, Andrew Moffat. They sell £20 teaching guides for children aged from babies, this is the scary bit, up to 11-year-olds, which basically present gender ideology as fact. Let's have a little watch and a listen of the clip of this teacher reading out just little bits of this book about this unhappy trans teddy bear. This is so shocking.
If I tell you, said Thomas, you might not be my friend anymore. I'll always be your friend, Thomas. Thomas the teddy took a deep breath. I need to be myself, Errol. In my heart, I've always known that I'm a girl teddy, not a boy teddy. I wish my name was Tilly, not Thomas. Is that why you've been so sad? Errol asked. I don't care if you're a girl teddy or a boy teddy. What matters is that you are my friend.
Kellie-Jay, just a lovely, nice, warm, lovely story about a little teddy bear that's made happy and about people being accepting. Except it's so much more sinister than that, isn't it?
It's so much more sinister. And actually, that lesson just is the tip of the iceberg. So as part of Let Women Speak, we are advocates and we go in, or we started to go in with people to attend sort of appointments where they might be a bit afraid. And I attended an appointment with a couple of teachers, safeguarding leads. I just want you to bear that in mind. Safeguarding leads. And the mother had a child in year 4 and year 5. And I can honestly tell you, Julia, these teachers lie to our faces. They deceive parents. They try and pretend that what they're not doing is teaching gender ideology when they are. They were reading a book called The Red Crayon, which is a blue crayon who's got a red wrapper, and it's absolutely endemic. It's everywhere. The first thing I saw when I walked into that primary school was a massive rainbow flag, a rainbow display that sort of said the words pride and difference. And then these teachers just lied to the parents. Yeah. What we found out in that lesson, in that meeting, which is the No Outsiders advice, are a number of things. Number one, they wouldn't tell parents if a little boy called himself a girl and was on a residential staying in girls' bedrooms. That wouldn't be an automatic, of course we'd tell you, of course he wouldn't be allowed in. Children would be chastised if they didn't go along with preferred pronouns. I mean,
so children being required to lie. That's what, let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. Children being required to lie.
Absolutely. So I said to these teachers, so how do you live with yourselves going home at night, forcing children to lie? And how does that operate against safeguarding? If you are no longer a person to trust, if children can't rely on the fact that the safeguarding in schools, the grown-ups, let's face it, they're grown-ups, although it does sometimes feel that they've never left primary school themselves, but that the grown-ups in charge of their safety can't even tell them the truth, and even worse, will force them to lie. I was like, how does that square with safeguarding?
What did they say?
Well, I mean, I think they were a little shocked that anybody was actually asking them to be answerable and responsible for anything whatsoever. But actually then the parent got a letter from the leadership saying that these staff, for being asked questions about what they were telling young children, were visibly shaken and unable to attend a leadership and faculty meeting that evening.
There's probably still off with stress right now on full pay. But this is the thing. We do have, it's been established in recent months, we have a right as parents to know what our children are being taught, what they're being told. And then most parents, and I think most pupils will feel, well, I don't want anyone to call me a transphobe. I'm called a transphobe for saying men can't become women. Trans women are not women, they are men. That makes me transphobic. And I'm like, well, okay, you can throw those words around, but they're still facts and I'm still going to keep saying them. But most people, unlike you and me, are desperately afflicted with the need to be liked. It's not an issue for you and me. It doesn't bother us, does it? I'd rather be telling the truth than be liked for the wrong reason. So lots of parents, lots of kids, they just want to say the right thing. They don't want trouble. It's not a big deal. But the trouble is, if you've got a kid, we know this often with the children who go and seek help, from trans issues. They often have autism, they have ADHD. A lot of them, particularly girls, are young, possibly gay girls or possibly gay boys who feel a bit uncomfortable. I don't seem to have the same feelings as everyone thinks I should have. And they're told, hey, look at this story about a teddy bear. You're unhappy. Maybe the solution to you being unhappy is changing your gender. And maybe you're actually a boy or maybe you're actually a girl, even though you weren't born that way. You're born in the wrong body. Here's the solution to all of your problems. And they're telling young, unhappy, distressed children that is the solution, which leads them down a path of drug taking, medicines which render them infertile, unable to ever have a fulfilling sexual relationship, to often mutilating their bodies at a later date. This is so dangerous and so destructive. And I mean, it's a child safeguarding issue. But the teacher reading that story and the guy who's organised that, they're the nice people. You and I are the bad people, Kellie-Jay.
Well, like I told those teachers in the meeting, that Andrew Moffat actually participated in something called Querying the Classroom. So what the No Outsiders actually wants to do is it wants all teachers and all pupils, whether they're sort of 3 years old or 11, to have a sexual identity and a gender identity in that classroom. So this
from 3?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what this is. This is called Querying the Classroom. It's all about everybody. I went to Australia, and in their national guidance, or in one of the regions, it talks about the sexuality of 0 to 2-year-olds. I mean, this is queer theory on steroids. It's so
Sorry, let's just call this what this is. If people are talking about the sexuality of toddlers, I've got some. Put it this way. I don't want them babysitting my child.
No.
I don't want them being in a changing room with my child. I don't want them touching my child. And you know why, and I know why. This is seriously sinister. This is very different from wanting to make it easier for sadly crazy, mixed up, unhappy children to feel that they can talk openly about how they feel and to be welcomed, and for gay children to be open about being gay, and people go, yeah, great, big deal. You like boys, you like girls, fine, carry on. No one's bothered. Live your best life. Things like that. That has now grown out of all proportion into something completely different, sexualizing basically babies.
Well, this is grooming, isn't it? This is what grooming does. It gradually erases boundaries, and that's what's happened with these teachers. These teachers, the parents said, what would happen if my daughter was on a residential year 4 and a little boy said he was a girl? Would he be sleeping in with the girls? And the teacher started this long answer, and I just looked and I said, why wouldn't it just be no?
Yeah.
Why isn't it no? What are you doing? And most of these schools now, they found a budget, goodness knows where, to convert all of their single sex toilets into these single occupancy, so-called gender neutral toilet blocks with sinks outside. Yeah. I just think that they are all participating. If a teacher's not standing up and saying no and finding a way around this and shouting from the rafters, then I'm afraid they are all participating in the grooming of our children and the erosion of their boundaries.
Here to that. And by the way, a government that's failing to do anything about it and is watching it on their watch and saying, oh, well, shrug, should we do something about this? Yeah. Kellie-Jay Keen, you're just such a hero. Thank you so much indeed for speaking out.